Well, this side is much worse than the other side. I'm not sure I can say this side, but I guess I'm gonna give her a try. And I was hoping they did just a crappy as weld on this side as they did the other side, but it actually looks like they did a good weld over here. And not looking forward to trying to cut that out, but I'm gonna start beating on this, see what happens. This side is really bad. Right now I'm just using a crescent wrench. Try to get this in somewhat better shape. I got it too far now, so it's got to go in a little. Okay, starting to look pretty good actually. I couldn't get that way in there, bent back out, but it's pretty darn close. They broke that and they overlapped it and then welded it up, so I'm gonna have to cut that off. And you can see the whole fender kind of is sloped down, so I got to cut that center support and cut this edge off here and pound it up. So I'm gonna do next after a break. Well, after all that, I think it looks pretty darn good. I gotta do a little tweaking tomorrow. I gotta do some welding. I gotta fix that. And there's another crack there. And there's another weld somewhere else that I forgot right now. But you can see under here how much higher I raised it up. That brace was connected. So I guess they bent them and then decided they needed a brace. So I'll have to raise that up tomorrow. I'm beat. My arms are wore out from beating this fender. But it looks pretty darn good. With what I started with. So that's what I got for tonight. Okay, I'm not sure I mentioned it before, but the reason you need a hammer behind this whenever you're hitting it is so you don't lose the energy of your hammer. I mean, if you just hit this thing without having anything behind it, it's just going to vibrate the fender and possibly bend it somewhere you don't want it to bend. So that's why I use the hammer behind it whenever I hit it. Well, the inner fender welds are broken on this side. Just like they were on the other side, so I gotta weld them up. Okay, here's what I did for the brace. I just added a piece on because it was so far off once I had it straight. And they actually did a really good job welding that back there, so I didn't want to try to cut that off because it would just be a mess probably. Got the inner fenders re-welded on. It's I got it as straight as it's gonna get. I'm pretty happy with it. If I keep pounding on it, I'm probably gonna end up messing it up. So I'm gonna call her good here. I wasn't really planning on doing 2 videos for these fenders, but this ended up to be quite a bit of work. Still thinking about adding a fender light right here, a clearance light, while it's in here and while I'm welding and grinding. So that'll either be the next video of this, or I'm going to finish up the wiring of the winch because I got all my parts to do that. So both fenders are straight enough for me. I saved a bunch of money. It was a bunch of work, but I'd rather do the work than spend the money, so there it is, guys. The cheapest I could find for a set of new fenders was around $200, so this is definitely worth the effort. I think they turned out pretty good, so I'm happy.